Welcome everybody to a very sunny Snetterton here, and we're getting ready for the Avon Tyres National Formula 4 Championship. My name's Chris Buxton and I'll be doing driver interviews here in the holding pen. Our drivers are getting ready to go. We have a few minutes to have a chat to our pole sitter, is Alex Walker in the Spectrum 11. How are you feeling, Alex, ahead of today's race?
Yeah, obviously qualified on pole, so I'm pretty confident going into it, but the slipstream's really big here. So, to be honest, anybody can win. It's just kind of placing your car in the right position and pushing hard. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hot enough for you?
Yeah, I'm roasting.
I can imagine. So you're looking forward to this one? Is Snetterton usually good for you?
Yeah, Snetterton's been good to me in the past, really. We've had some good results here. It's not a track I've really been to that much, but I've been here twice, so yeah, it should be good. A bigger grid than I'm used to here, though.
They're all gunning for your glory. Best of luck, Mr. Walker, and we'll see you on the other side. Right, second position is number 87, which is Chris Middlehurst in the Team Dolan Van Diemen. Let's have a chat with the fellow person on the front row. Chris, how'd quali go for you?
Yeah, very well. Obviously P2 there, half a tenth behind Walker, so it's very, very fine margins when it's a 2-minute lap. You know, it's so easy to lose time, and you know, it's just, yeah, it's very tight. So got Niall behind me, a teammate, so I've not had that all year, so it's nice to have that as well. But no, I'm just focused on my own job, of course, like Niall is, and need to score some good points. So the aim is, of course, win, try and take some points off Walker. I'm in P2 and I have nothing to lose, so you know, let's just go for it and see what happens.
Good man, nothing wrong with determination. Now there's several Team Dolan cars on the grid for this weekend. Is there any kind of team orders? What's the strategy moving forward?
Not really team orders as such. Niall can't score any points, so he won't take points off other people. So if he obviously is second, and then yeah, so it is what it is. You just have to see how the race goes and do our best and just go for the win.
Best of luck, Chris, and we'll see you on the other side. As you can see, the cars are going ready to go. We'll hand it back over to Scott Woodward in the commentary box.
Chris Buxton, yes, it's time for our first of 3 races for the final meeting of the season for the Avon Tyres National Formula 4 Championship for 2021. A 3-way dance for the title between Alex Walker, Chris Middlehurst and Max Esterson. It is essentially Kevin Mills Racing versus Team Dolan versus Low Dempsey Racing and 3 different chassis. It is Spectrum versus Van Diemen versus Ray. It could not be more enticing, and there are 1 or 2 special guests in this race that could certainly make it quite tasty as well. So the cars lining up out of the assembly area for their first of 3 races here on the Snetterton 300 circuit. Of course, this has been a typical home of Formula Ford racing over the years. Of course, this is where the Formula Ford Festival, which celebrates its 50th running this year at the end of October. This is where it started back in 1972. It ran here for 4 festivals from 72 to 75, and of course then in 76 it then transferred to the home of Formula Ford, the spiritual home of Formula Ford, Brands Hatch, where it's remained ever since. So, we'll go through the grid for this first race in just a second, and we'll also go through the championship connotations. But we've got some quite exciting drivers, but not just most of the regulars, but 1 or 2 drivers that are just jumping in for their first appearance either of the season or first appearance of entirely racing in this country as a whole. We'll explain them as the racing goes on throughout this formation lap. So the cars then will then make their way off onto the green flag lap in each second. Now the green flag flies, and championship leader Alex Walker leads them away to start the formation lap to get them ready for race number 1. So how they're going to start is as follows. Alex Walker, championship leader, will be on pole position. He gets the crucial bonus 2 points for pole position, and he will start alongside one of his main 2 championship rivals, Chris Middlehurst, on the front row of the grid. But then, on the second row of the grid, welcome back to Formula 4 for a guest appearance for Niall Murray, former national champion, former 2-time festival winner, and he will start 3rd on the grid in the Van Diemen BD21 alongside Thomas Mills, son of Kevin. He starts 4th on the grid. Max Esterson's got work to do from the 3rd row in his Low Dempsey Racing Ray. There's Jamie Sharp alongside him, Anglesey race winner, in 6th. Lucas Romanek for Oldfield Motorsport starts 7th. Andre Lafond for Low Dempsey is 8th. Morgan Quinn and Carter Williams come next for Team Dolan and Oldfield Motorsport respectively. 11th on the grid, Megan Gilchrist, former W Series racer. Colin Queen starts 12th for Low Dempsey. Megan Gilchrist in the KMR run Spectrum. row 7 sees former 3-time Festival winner Joey Foster 13th, and Andre Castro, who is the other Team USA scholarship winner alongside Max Etterson. He has his first race in the UK ever, starting in 14th place. Benjamin Cochran and Adam Quartermain making a guest appearance, start in 16th place, and then another American on the grid, Jeremy Fairbairn, making his UK racing debut. He will start in 17th place in the PWR1 Phil Wills Run Van Diemen chassis. So here's how they come into the weekend on points. Alex Walker on drop scores is in the lead with 383 points, and he is 28 points ahead of a tie currently for second place between Chris Middlehurst and Max Etterson on 355 in the Pro class. Now, one key thing we should mention for this weekend is there's a rule that came into this season alongside a few BRSC championships, including the National Formula Fords, where across all 3 races, none of the results that are scored this weekend can be counted towards being a drop score. So if you retire from one of these races, it has to count as a result towards your final score, including drops. So all the results up to the end of the previous rounds at Alton Park can be counted as scores that you can drop, but you cannot drop any results from these final 3 races. So if you have a mishap or a poor result, it has to count towards your final total, and that's going to make it even more exciting in that case. This will be quite an exciting race in prospect, as we see 23 there, which is Carter Williams, who has been a former British Formula 3, now GB3 and British F4 racer, so he's quite well ensconced in UK single-seater racing. He's had been dovetailing a couple of occasional GB3 appearances with a National Formula Ford campaign with Oldfield Motorsport. Now as the cars make their way around onto the grid, the main focus, of course, is going to be on this 3-way fight between Alex Walker, Chris Middlehurst and Max Etterson. But of course, you could never, ever count out in a Formula Ford race a modern Formula Ford legend in Niall Murray. Of course, he's a 2-time Festival winner in 2013 and 2016. 2016 was arguably one of his best year in a Formula Ford ever. He was already won, I think it was 12 races in the National Championship. He also won the Festival that year and the Walter Hayes Trophy, and he won in Northern Ireland the Martin Donnelly Trophy as well. That was pretty much almost a clean sweep of major Formula Ford competitions. So Niall Murray in the Van Diemen Bernard Dolan developed BD21, which I think is a further development of his legendary 1999 chassis that he's been so dominant in the past before. He's getting ready to start in 3rd place, and he, along with the likes of Andre Castro, Adam Quartermain, Jeremy Fairbairn, are all guests this weekend. So to clarify, they're essentially invisible in terms of scoring points. They won't score points. Essentially, the drivers behind will take advantage of that going forwards. 5-second board is up then. The first National Formula Ford race of the weekend on their final weekend of the season, about to get underway. Walker and Middlehurst on the front row. Watch for Etterson from 5th. Lights out. We're racing at Snetterton. It's a good start from the outside in the front row from Chris Middlehurst, to put himself alongside Alex Walker. The 15 minutes get underway, and Middlehurst immediately into the lead. Walker sweeping around the outside, looking one way then the other to get through. Murray's in 3rd place, into Ritchie's for the first time, and Mills is going toe to toe with Max Etterson. He has to try and get his elbows out and pick up spots from the 3rd row of the grid. Out through Ritchie's, down towards the Wilson hairpin, immediately Middlehurst under attack from Walker. Up the inside goes Mills to try and take 3rd place from Niall Murray. Also getting stuck in there, looks like, is Lucas Romanek side by side with Morgan Quinn in the white car 88 with the red and blue stripes down the middle. Up through Palmer's now for the first time, and down towards Agostini with now Walker. I mean, he has to try and make sure that Middlehurst doesn't try and get away too much, but he also knows that, again, every single result that he can get counts, and he knows that essentially if he can just keep on getting strong results, he can maintain that lead on drop scores to try and hopefully get him to secure the title this weekend. He's been mainly the man in form across the year, but Middlehurst has had 1 or 2 ups and downs, but he has had some good strong starts. So strong start so far, Chris, but some great battling initially between the championship contenders at the front of the field.
Yeah, another nice clean start there, wasn't it, for the whole field? It's a great sight to see such a large field of Formula 4s going round onto the Bentley Straight, and they drift nicely around the final corner onto the back straight there. It's really really good to see that, and like you say, nice clean start, and it sets up the championship battle nicely.
Colin Queen there chasing after Joe Foster as they come down the back straight for the first time. Slipstreaming aplenty here. This is kind of memories of the old school champion of Snetterton that the BRS used to run back in the old days in the late 80s. And so as the cars make their way out of Brundle Nelson for the first time, a couple of the cars running wide over the curbs. So Andre Lafond there in 52 ahead of Carter Williams. And then so Lucas Romanek, and then you've got, no, it is Carter Williams in 55. Then we've got Morgan Quinn just behind him in one of the 4 Team Dolan cars, one of which is at the head of the pack. So it is Van Diemen from Spectrum from Van Diemen, Middlehurst from Walker, from Mills, and then from Niall Murray. So Now, of course, again, remember, does not score points. He's invisible to point scoring, which means if he wins the race, if Middlehurst comes home in second place, he still gets the points for the win. Down the pit straight, end of lap 1. Middlehurst leads. Walker's still under attack for second place, and Thomas Mills attacking his teammate for second place. I know there's been a team play here, but I'm not quite sure what to try and make that, particularly when he knows his teammate is the main championship contender, unless it's a team tactic to have Tom go after Chris and just try and distract him at the front.
Yeah, there's all sorts of tactics that can come into play, especially when you've got a teammate there to help you. It depends whether they have had, I'm sure they've had a conversation on the team trucker to see what they're going to do, and they'll have a plan. Whether they can make that plan happen and execute throughout this race, we will see. There's a moving to the inside there to see if we can shake that little bit of toe that you get in the draft there, but he sort of comes back out to take his racing line, so he's clearly happy that he's at the moment protecting that lead.
Yeah, Middlehurst on a strong defence there as he held onto the position. One driver was having a pretty strong start and actually pushing Max Etherson down to 6th is actually Jamie Sharp. He was a first-time race winner finally in Formula 4s. I know he at least would have been relieved that he got his first win in National Formula 4s at Anglesey. It was quite an emotional moment, him giving quite a heartfelt embrace with his father after waiting so long for that first National Formula 4 win. As they come out through Williams for the first time, he's still showing good pace in the dry here at Snetterton. He's currently leading Eston in 6th, Lucas Romanek in 7th. There's Andre Lafond from the 9th place car of Carter Williams, and then Morgan Quinn in 10th. As for our two guest American drivers, and Andre Castro, who alongside Max Etherson are the 2 Team USA scholarship drivers, he's currently sat at the moment in 14th place, and Adam Quartermain's 15th there, and then 16th place currently is Jeremy Fairbairns, who is also racing for the first time here in Europe. Look at this typical Formula 4 stuff, and Thomas Mills gets sideways. I'm not sure if it was a nudge from Murray on his gearbox or not, but Murray's getting very feisty behind the number 21 car as they swing through Gorham for the second time. Long right-handed, very awkward braking zone to try and get the car stopped for the little left-hand flick that takes you back onto the long, almost endless pit straight down towards Richards again to complete another lap, all tucked in behind each other. Middlehurst, Walker, Mills and Murray, they're going to go side by side, and Mills is going alongside Chris Middlehurst in the lead. Mills also defending from Murray down towards Richie's corner. They're going to go side by side with 2 championship contenders into the right-hander. Up the inside also went Thomas Mills. That was very close indeed. Sharp's also getting his elbows out in front, and this is not what Chris Middlehurst needs. He needs to try and stay ahead of both of the Kevin Mills cars, but Walker's himself at least has got through, and he's allowed also Thomas Mills to get through, and he knows also Don Murray gets through. He's not going to help him. He's not going to have him lose points, because of course Don Murray's a guest, so he's invisible from scoring points in the result, but he'll know that if Murray can't go after them and attack them and cause the 2 Kevin Mills cars headaches, it's going to cause him problems, coming under attack from both Jamie Sharp and, more importantly, Max Etherson, who is in contention for at least 2nd in the championship. That's the cause of a whole world of trouble if he can't get around them quick enough. Yeah,
if you get shuffled out of the train, you can quickly get consumed by the field, and we saw a little bit of that. One position lost actually left the door open there for both teammates to get through, and now they can act interference. So if they did have a team plan, maybe now is the time to bring that to fruition.
Tell you what, this might be shaping up to be possibly one of the most competitive Formula 4 races that the BRCC has had all season, because we've now got the top 10 all together in the lead group, separated by, get this, 3.2 seconds. That's how close it is. Look, there's Morgan Quinn back in 10th. That's how big the lead group is after 2.5 laps. It's pretty incredible. So competitive is this lead group. Fastest lap of the race in the first proper flying lap went to 7th place man Lucas Romanek, so watch out for him, as now him back in 7th. He's the driver who started the season with Kevin Mills racing one of their Spectrums. He's then moved across to Oldfield Motorsport in Heather Van Diemen car, the black car, number 23. There he is. He's now ahead of Jamie Sharp, the Anglesey race winner, and he's doing a grand job, of course, because he's also in the mix to try and get himself a good position in the Rookie Cup as well at the end of the season. Through the right-hander at Coram, Walker trying to pull away, and Thomas Mills doing exactly what he did at Brands Hatch, which if you watch the coverage of Brands Hatch, you'll know Thomas Mills in the last race did exactly the same thing here to frustrate Chris Middlehurst. He basically sat in 2nd place and became the cork in the bottle. He played the rear gunner role. He sat there, held everyone else up, allowed Walker to pull away and get the win. Mills got great 2nd place. This is perfect team play for Kevin Mills Racing. The championship contender goes and shoots off into the lead, and one of his fast teammates sits there, holds everyone else up, and helps his compatriot gain the advantage to pull out in front. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be frustrating for Middlehurst there in 3rd place if that is happening, and certainly the gap does look like it was developing, like you said, of that. Some of the drivers flirting with track limits around here. We've got some automated sensors that they can run over, so some of them are going to have to be a bit careful that doesn't come into play by the end. But yes, I'm sure if I'm Middlehurst, I'm looking to get past as quick as I can. He's still just lodged under the gearbox down towards Agostini now on this 4th lap of racing. This first Avon Tyres National Football race of the weekend, battle on between Max Esterson, who's not really as high as he wants to be in this pack of cars. He's still stuck behind Jamie Sharp, and now coming under threat from 7th place man Lucas Romanek in that black Van Diemen, run by James Oldfield. Of course, former festival winning outfit back in 2018 with Joshua Smith, and a brilliant festival final that saw an epic final lap between himself, Oliver Weiss and Niall Murray, when just stole the lead on the last lap at Druids. Just gliding their way through. There you can see that's Morgan Quinn making a move on Andre Lafond, wide there on the exit, as Lafond has lost 2 spots. He's lost out to both Carter Williams and Morgan Quinn, so he's down from 8th to 10th. As now side by side with 2 Kevin Mills cars, there goes Thomas Mills trying to go around the outside of his teammate, but it might have been more of a blocking tactic to stop Chris Middlehurst getting close and to try and make a move. So again, he might be young, sort of 16, 17-year-old Thomas Mills, of course, and of course being Kevin Mills' son, but he's got a very smart tactical head on his shoulders as Thomas. He's putting some very good defensive driving here, not just at Brands but here as well. He knows what part he has to play in this. He's playing it, truthfully, despite being at a young age, to absolute perfection. Very smart driving. It's frustrating driving for Middlehurst, but it's great, smart tactical driving for Mills. Really good stuff at the front.
Looks like Middlehurst got a bit of a run here. You do get that toe coming up this straight, so maybe he's going to be able to put his car alongside going into turn 1. But like you say, the best way sometimes to block a car behind you is to go side by side with the person in front. Didn't manage to make that sort of move stick coming up into turn 1, but he's certainly got that little pace in 3rd place, and yeah, he will be looking to get past Mills, and he's doing a great job to hold him back so far.
They're getting amongst it, because there was a side-by-side moment for 2nd and 3rd, and Middlehurst is back up the inside to get 2nd place, and Murray might follow him through in 3rd. So Mills gets the power off on the exit. Now these 2, Mills and Murray, actually squared off in a Champion of Brands race a few weeks ago, and Mills in qualifying actually beat Murray in terms of lap time before Murray outpaced him in both races to take both race wins, and that would have been another warm-up for the Formula Ford Festival at the end of the month, the 50th running of the Formula Ford Festival. And I can tell you there are 90 plus cars entered at the moment for this race. It's going to be one of the most popular festivals for a while, which is going to be quite extraordinary. So be sure to get involved in that, but both watching it on the live stream, if you can watch it live trackside as well, do come along for that weekend. It's going to be quite a mega weekend of racing. Through left-hand Williams into Hamilton's, into Oggies now for the 5th time. New fastest lap of the race went to Chris Middlehurst, 2 minutes 1.002, and now this is crucial. Now that Mills can't give that rear gunner action, that extra line of defence, Walker, now Alex is really under threat from the Team Dolan man, and essentially what Chris now needs is Niall to get around Thomas to give him some rear backup to make sure it's 2 Dolan cars. And here he comes round the outside line. Mills tries to support the best he can. They're going to go wheel to wheel, but Walker just holds on. I think Walker also realises, there was a bit of tap from the rear there. I was about to say he realised that if he tries to make any silly moves and many big moves up the inside, it doesn't pay off. It's only going to hurt him, particularly when there's no drop scores from these final 3 races. Back up the inside with a bit of a wiggle there went Thomas Mills, but there was a little bit of a tap in the rear on the exit of Brundle Nelson. It's getting a bit edgy out there.
Yeah, the attitude with only 4 or 5 minutes to go now is certainly becoming the pointy end of this race, isn't it? And Mills has managed to get himself back up there, but again he drifts off wide on that final bend, which is really flirting with danger at this stage of the race.
So down the pit straight once again, 5 laps in the books, now side by side for 2nd. Marbury pushing Chris Middlehurst, lodged right under his gearbox, tandem drafting in Formula Fords. Who'd have thought it? Down towards the right-hand of Ritchie's they go. Watch out for this man still as well in the red car, number 89, Jamie Sharp. He's in the mix, and he's also bringing, crucially, Max Esterson with him. He needs to be in this leading fight to keep his chance for 2nd place alive, as down the outside taking the wide approach. And look up the inside, look at that! Chris Middlehurst, there must have been some kind of a skirmish to Thomas Mills, because he's dropped now to 5th position. He's dropped behind Murray and Mills and now Jamie Sharp. So Chris Middlehurst, crucially, is down to 5th position with 4.25 minutes to go. This is not where he needs to be to keep himself in the contest. Murray's now in 2nd place, but it's now his job at the moment to catch and reel Alex Walker back in if he can do it. There's lockups behind as Middlehurst tries to fire the car back down the inside line to get himself back into 4th position. Can't quite do it. He's going to try and put himself alongside Jamie towards the left-hander at Hamilton's, but now he's under threat, crucially, for the man he's battling for 2nd in the championship. They were level on points on drop scores coming into the weekend. He needs to stay ahead of Esterson, otherwise it could get a whole lot worse.
Yeah, we didn't actually see what happened there, but yes, dropped back a long way. We saw how long it took him to get past into 2nd place again. So he's got only 3.5 minutes left to make 4 places up, and that's to get back to where he was. And like you say, he's also got to consider that he's got to be a rear gunner and prevent the attack from behind.
Saw Megan Gilchrist there, car 49, former W Series racer. She was a race winner of a non-championship reverse grid race. As now we see Thomas Mills defending again from Noel Murray. He looked down the outside for the switchback. He's going to try and put himself alongside on the exit. He's going to go side by side. This man's done it several times before. Up the inside into the bomb hole. Very close wheel-to-wheel stuff. And Mills is sideways on the exit on the outside line onto the dirt. Up the inside now goes Jamie Sharp to get into third place. And if Chris Middlehurst can follow him through, that's one more place, so another couple of points made up. Sharp is into third. Mills is in fourth. And now you see fifth and sixth position with Lucas Romanek in there. Middlehurst and Esserson wheel-to-wheel, nose-to-tail for fifth and sixth. Contesting second place. Walker literally is, no pun intended, walking it at the front. There's done Murray in second place. And again, look at that. It's like we saw in the Caterham races earlier. All the fighting behind Walker is just playing into his hands and seeing you get further and further in front. His last lap was at least a second quicker than anyone else in front. All this fighting is only benefiting one man. It's the guy in first place.
As soon as you go side by side, you cannot take the fastest racing line, and the slipstream is not enough to bring back that gap, so the gap extends. And yeah, like you say, Walker has benefited from that, and now he's got fairly comfortable 1.5 seconds there out front.
I'm going to try and do some working out on the points tables here to try and work out exactly where we are in terms of points score. So Alex Walker, if he stays where he is, got pole position, so that's two bonus points for his pole position, and if he wins here, it's 32 points. It's 34 points for the win, and so this will now mean that Jamie Sharp, because Almo is invisible from point scoring, it means that Jamie Sharp would be second. It would be Thomas Mills who gets third, and then fourth and fifth. So it's 27 points for second, 24 for third, 22 for fourth, and 20 for fifth position. So essentially this is second, so it's fourth and fifth currently, which is essentially point scoring. Middlehurst and Etterson will get. So Middlehurst will get 22 points for his fourth place, and fifth place, I'm working this out on the fly, 20 for Esterson. And then fastest lap of the race is currently held by Middlehurst. He gets an extra 2 points, which means that he gets 24 points in essence. So this, I think, would then give at the moment on drop scores Middlehurst ahead by 4 after this race, pending any things. Yes, so this puts at the moment Alex Walker 417 points on provisionally on drop scores, and then 379 for Chris Middlehurst at the moment. We've still got to finish this race with 1 lap to go, and then we've got Max Etterson third on 375. So at the moment, bear in mind, remember, you cannot drop any of the results from these last 3 rounds. It's in the regulations this year that you cannot drop any scores from the final meeting. It means then that literally any points you're scoring ahead of your rivals is helping you gain an advantage. So Walker has that points advantage. He's outscoring at the moment Chris Middlehurst by 10 whole points. And Middlehurst has got that advantage to break the tie between himself and Esterson, 24 points over 20. So they come back into the complex. Walker's gap, now this is interesting, Walker's gap has now come down to 0.9 of a second, and Jamie Sharp has the fastest lap of the race, which means that's 2 points lost for Chris Middlehurst. He'd be on 22 for that fourth place score, or scoring the points for fourth place. So he's now only 2 points ahead on drop scores after this race come the conclusion at this moment in time. So in through the hairpin they go. Agostini for the last time. Middlehurst getting a little ragged on the exit. And the agonising thing is, all he can do is stare at the gearbox of Thomas Mills. He can't do anything. As I remember, Niall Murray's invisible from point scoring, which means that yes, he's in second place, but he's invisible from scoring, which means that Jamie Sharp would finish third on the road, but he will get the points for second for being the second placed car that's in the pro class. So Niall Murray is one of 4 drivers as a guest driver. That's the cars marked in purple, the purple numbers on the left-hand side on the timing tower. So down the back straight for the final time here on this first race of the Avon Tyres National Formula 4 Championship at Snetterton. Walker still leads. He's closing up for second, third and fourth. Niall Murray's in there and just turns a little too deep into the right-hander at Nelson, but holds on. Jamie Sharp knows that even if he stays in second, third place, we get the trophy for third, but the points for second as a pro-class driver. And of course, Thomas Mills will get the points for third. Middlehurst will get points for fourth, and Esterson is a little bit further back in fifth. But this man, Alex Walker, as he turns out through Corbin into Murray's for the final time, continues to take step after step closer to the national Formula title. Off the road is gone. Looks like, I think that's Andre the Fons off the road, I think. But up to the checkered flag. It's going to be a first win of the weekend and a step closer to the title for Alex Walker, who wins the first national Formula Ford race. It's then second for Niall Murray, third for Jamie Sharp, fourth for Thomas Middleton, fifth for Chris Middlehurst. He'll be gutted with that, and equally so will Max Esterson back in sixth. The battle for second continues on but it's looking ever more increasingly likely that Alex Walker is taking another step closer and almost putting one hand practically on the 2021 National Formula 4 title. It is then 7th for Lucas Romanek, 8th for Carter Williams, 9th for Andre Castro on his UK racing debut. The Team USA Scholarship driver putting an excellent effort to move a couple of spots in the last few laps. 10th for Megan Gilkis, 11th for Joey Foster, bit off the pace this weekend. It's 12th for Andre Lafond, 13th for Morgan Quinn, 14th for Colin Queen, who was off the road. And the last couple of cars that came through also hit problems and had to make their way through. So, last couple of cars crossed the line. Jeremy Fairbairns, Benjamin Cochran also heading to the finish as well. So, an entertaining and nail-biting first Formula Ford race of the weekend. There is Colin Queen, sadly, who's in contention for the Rookie Cup, and that'll also be something which will be settled this weekend, of course. The Rookie Cup for drivers who, before the season, hadn't raced in a Formula Ford in the UK, so, or in a Formula Ford category. So these drivers are contesting to see who is best of the young drivers who are starting for the first time out in Formula Ford. But Alex Walker certainly proving his talent. He was one of the drivers who's been selected for the interview process for the Porsche Junior scheme. And so we're going to run through the results then from our provisional results for race 1 of the weekend for the Avon Tyres National Formula 4 Championship. So Alex Walker then takes the victory by 0.9 of a second from Niall Murray in second place. It's Jamie Sharp in third, followed by Thomas Mills in fourth, Chris Middlehurst in fifth, then Max Esterson, Lucas Romanek, Carter Williams, Andre Castro and Megan Gilkis rounding up the top 10. Here they are. So Walker, Murray, Sharp, Mills, Middlehurst, Esterson, Romanek, Williams, Andre Castro and Megan Gilkis round out the top 10. Chris Middlehurst actually does get the fastest lap back on the last lap, so he gets 2 points back on his score from that first race. So well done to Chris for getting it back on the last lap. That could prove crucial by close of play tomorrow. Then Joey Foster, Andre Lafond, Morgan Quinn, Jeremy Fairbairn and Benjamin Cochran, and we lost both Colin Quinn and Adam Quartermain. Potentially, I don't know if the two came together, but they both went out on the same lap, so whether they were involved or not, we'll have to wait and see.